Hi, friends. I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we are an excellent little podcast.
Presenting you a little movie podcast starring Zach and Mitch.
Wait, we're doing a podcast?
We are doing a podcast, Zach, but this time I have the need.
The need for speed.
And,
Ow! Damn it!
And
you broke the sound barrier with that one.
And
Jesus.
if you want to join us, folks, be prepared because we are going into the danger zone. Highway
to the danger zone.
We're talking about Top Gun Maverick, folks.
Oh,
and
yeah.
oh my God, this movie was...
Okay.
I can't.
I have to tell you this. Like, and I mentioned to you this before we actually, like, when we were sitting down for this movie. I was not looking forward to this movie at all. I am of the very unpopular opinion that the first Top Gun is absolute garbage. I don't like it at all. And I tried to rewatch it before going to see Top Gun Maverick, and I think I got 20-30 minutes in and just turned it off. I was like, no, this is still absolute freaking garbage. So going into this movie, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna try to check my feelings at the door, but oh boy, do I think I'm going to eat vegetables on this. I was like, I'm not looking forward to this. I do not care that this has like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I even said that, yeah.
I'm like, I'm very, very skeptical of this movie.
All right, so time out.
Yeah.
Because you're about to get into your thoughts. But
No, we got a couple of introductions that we got to get into for it.
So before we get to you, so I am in the, I don't want to say majority because I feel like you either hate Top Gun, which you do.
Yep.
You love Top Gun, which I don't. Or you just see it how it is. You look at it kind of how it is. And I saw it as your prototypical 1980s action film that had no idea what it was, and it added in a random romance subplot.
Yep.
I remember when I was younger, and for some reason, I don't know why this image is implanted in my mind. I had to go downstairs, and my dad was watching this, and then all of a sudden, it's the "Take My Breath Away" song.
Oh yeah,
and you see Tom Cruise going at it with the girl that he's with.
Yep.
And I'm just like, and that was I was really young, so that was literally my first like idea of near porn films. and I take a peek at it, and my dad changed the channel. So, but the funny thing is,
good parenting, Dad. Way to go.
I love you, Carl Ray. But funny thing is, this movie is the first Top Gun was one of my parents' first date.
Oh, really?
So if it wasn't for Top Gun, you would not be doing a podcast with me.
That's fair.
And I'm also named after Maverick.
Yes,
his last name is Mitchell, but my parents shortened it to Mitch. So,
however, I will say that was not a date between us. We are purely work buddies.
we are also straight.
We are also straight.
And white.
Who needs yet another straight white male's opinion? But we're going to give it anyway. So going into that, so let's go ahead and get into a little bit of introductions. This movie was directed by Joseph Kosinski, and the screenplay was by Peter Craig, and the characters are based off of from Jim Cash and Jack Epps Jr.
A nice little summary is after more than 30 years of service as one of the Navy's top aviators, Pete Mitchell is where he belongs, pushing the envelope as a courageous test pilot and dodging the advancement in rank that would ground him. Yeah.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah. So
That's deeper than the first Top Gun.
yeah. So I'm going to get my first thoughts. I'm going to try to do it as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's, of course, like as we always say, say how exactly we're going to break it down as we always do. We're first going to go ahead and start with our non-spoiler section where me and Mitch give our first thoughts and we talk about the cast and just a few little non-spoiler things that we want to talk about. And then we'll give our honest review of what we think about it, whether we ate it up, it needs to cook a little more, or we fed it to the dog. And then after that,
there'll be a spoiler alarm.
We'll bring in the spoiler alarm, and we'll get on to our spoiler section. So that way, if you want to hear our opinions, yet not hear us talk completely and untethered about the movie, you'll be able to hear our opinions and get what we think about the movie without having it spoiled for you.
Yeah. So, if I may, Zach, because I was the one that talked us into seeing this movie.
Yep.
May I start?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. So, my first thoughts were going off of the first movie. I enjoyed the first movie, but I also saw it for what it was. I also feel like the first Top Gun, the only reason why it got made was to capitalize on Tom Cruise's upcoming stardom.
Completely.
Because at the time, he just did Risky Business.
Yep.
And he was also filming, or he had just finished The Color of Money with Paul Newman, directed by Martin Scorsese, which very
underrated.
Underrated, overlooked movie.
Yeah.
A good sequel to The Hustler.
Oh,
the
yeah,
1960s,
100%.
Which I do recommend, but we'll talk about that another time. So, and I was skeptical of this movie. But then, because it was finished before the pandemic.
Yes,
I think it was finished, or
I
at
believe
least
so.
Close.
Because I'm not gonna lie, the filming of this movie kind of overlaps for me with the Mission Impossible franchise because
They're done by the same.
They're done
people,
pretty much
by Paramount.
Yep, it's by Paramount. But also, because any single time that Tom Cruise like films something, you hear like photos of set of Tom Cruise doing this crazy stunt, like. Every single time that he does a movie. So like
he's in his 60s, man.
And like so I'm not gonna lie, he shot these like almost like one after another. So
he's in great shape.
So he's in great shape, but the actual filming of these two movies to me blurred together because genuinely like it was just one after another.
So again, when I heard it was announced, I looked at the cast and looked at the director, and they were a lot of no names. Like I knew about Jennifer Connelly, I knew about Miles Teller, and so on and so forth. And obviously, you know, it's Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Even though the guy's crazy, he still knows how to play.
Oh, yeah,
He still
100%.
knows how to act for the most part. And it got delayed from the pandemic, even though it was finished. But then I started hearing rumblings that Tom Cruise refused to let this movie and Mission Impossible go straight to streaming.
Yep.
And I have to give kudos to him for that. Because, you know, obviously, I think he produced it too.
I think so too.
Or
yeah.
at least
I think he has a producer credit on this.
Or at least executive producer on it. I got to give him loads of credit for pushing a theatrical release.
Oh yeah.
Because this movie is making a shit ton of money.
Well, and also it would just not. Regardless of whatever I think of Top Gun 1, there's something about flying and you know these giant planes and whatnot. They just don't. They don't translate well to the smaller screen. You need to see it on a bigger screen.
Oh yeah, especially in Dolby where we saw it in.
Oh yeah,
and we were about three rows from the screen, 3 or 4 rows. As he coughs,
like 5 or 6.
I was gonna say, and so we were close to the theater, which doesn't bother him and I.
No, I really don't care where I sit in a theater, especially with reclining seats now. You can be in the front and you can be looking up and you're fine.
And man, oh man, I'm so glad this movie got a theatrical release.
Oh yeah,
Tom Cruise did what he needed to do, and this movie just delivered. And without giving my full detailed review, I have to say this movie it could be the best movie we've seen so far this year. Without giving my full review out,
yeah, absolutely,
because a lot of people may not know my review of previous films, that we've seen. It could be the best film that we have seen so far this year.
That's fair.
I'm calling it now.
Okay, yeah.
Zach?
So yeah, I ate my words coming out of this film. I thought I was getting vegetables. I got a full hearty ribeye steak out of this.
With that big glass of water.
Whew. Like, no, I'm not kidding. Like this was something else.
Yeah.
You could tell Tom Cruise had a hunger to come back to this role, and you could really see it in see why. The cast all knew the task at hand, and the director knew the task at hand, and really did a amazing job of kind of recapturing the 80s, but with a new flair, and that includes the newer blood as well. They also stepped up to the plate really, really well.
I also, sorry I cut you off, Zach.
No, you're fine.
But I also feel like, you remember how we saw Scream a couple months ago, about 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Where it was saying a bunch of legacy sequels?
Yeah.
This is a legacy sequel.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
With new blood, and a lot of the ordinary cast are there. Pretty much the majority of the ordinary cast is there.
Pretty much, yeah.
And it also opens the door for a possible third one. And I also have to say, out of all the legacy sequels we've gotten, this is a pure, perfect definition of a good
one.
Legacy sequel.
Yeah.
A lot of them have been hit or miss.
Yeah.
Scream was a good one.
But
this one
beats it. Yeah. This one beats it.
Okay.
So speaking of all those casts, let's go ahead and move on to our Top Gun, our Mr. Tom Cruise. Even though he technically did not receive Top Gun, he was second place.
He was second place.
But
second only to somebody we'll talk about later.
Yep. But hey, they didn't ask Iceman to come back to teach the Top Gun class. They asked Maverick to.
Which, okay. Here's the thing. Maverick, even though he's a hothead,
oh yeah,
he still knows his shit.
Oh, 100%. Like, don't get us wrong. Like, just because he takes exponentially stupid risks, he knows what's going on behind those risks. So that's why he's such an interesting character, because he's one of those people who's like, you see this rule book, I'm gonna throw it in the trash.
He literally did that.
Yeah, in both movies, in both Top Gun and in this one.
Well, because he knows that you can't learn everything in a classroom.
Correct.
You have to be out there.
You have to experience it. You have to do it.
That's why a lot of people, when they do training stuff, like, okay, let's get your reading done, but let's be quick about it, because you need to go out into the field and really know because you're not going to learn everything in this library or in this book or in the classroom. Get out there and do something, which a lot of high schools do that, please. Don't shove math books in people's heads.
What's a 401k?
Yeah, I got my worst grades in math. But yeah, Tom Cruise. Yeah. Here's the thing. This man has went from teenage heartthrob in Risky Business, even though he was like in his late teens, early 20s, I think, something like that.
I think it was early 20s, yeah.
Yeah. To an Academy Award nominee for Born on the 4th of July.
Yep.
To somebody who was clearly psychotic.
To someone having a terrible Irish accent, but getting a really great Christmas song out of the movie.
To somebody who was in A War of the Worlds. And had to fight a mummy, and has gone on so many missions that are impossible.
Oh, so many missions that are impossible.
But they've gotten better.
That is the one franchise where, like, my first Mission Impossible movie was Mission Impossible 3, and then I saw Mission Impossible 1. And then I saw Mission Impossible 2, which
we don't talk about.
We don't talk about Mission Impossible 2.
We don't talk about Bruno either.
But genuinely, after 3, like, they just continually get better.
Because the stakes get higher.
And that's the thing. I genuinely don't know how they keep on raising the stakes in those movies, and somehow they do.
But I think it goes back to Tom Cruise. He keeps pushing the director and the screenwriters and the entire production crew, let's raise the stakes. And that is why I think this Top Gun is so good.
Yeah.
Is because they raise the stakes, and you see that not in the opening scene, but we'll talk about that later. In the second scene where he is doing another test thing. So
yep.
I said test thing.
Yep, that works for me.
With Ed Harris.
Yep. Yeah, no, this
I I'm glad you caught me though, Zach, because I got so excited I wanted to talk about it. I'm glad we don't want to re-record this.
Yeah.
So we're close.
But yeah, no, it's so interesting watching Tom Cruise through his career. I once had a high school professor or a high school teacher who was not a fan of Tom Cruise because he said Tom Cruise plays the same character in every single one of his films, which
to be fair, he
kind of does. But you really, if you pay attention and just watch every single film that he's been in and kind of grow with him, you really can see his growth. And he really does play not only Maverick, but the Maverick of the group really well. But not only does he do that, he also really does well at playing the somber moments.
Yeah.
Which that's the true mark of a good actor, is being able to play the comedic, intense, but then also the somber moments, which is really a mark of a great actor. Which, if you would have asked me like quite a few years ago, was Tom Cruise a great actor, I would have said no. But like after watching this, I was like, damn, dude, this isn't Oscar worthy, but like, damn, good for you.
He's pretty good. So we talked about Tom Cruise.
Yep.
I almost spoiled it.
No, you're good. You're good. You didn't. I caught you.
Zach's about to punch me. Zach's about to punch me. So Jennifer Connelly as Penny.
Yeah. She was fine.
She was fine.
She was okay.
I thought she was a better love interest in this
100%. She was.
But I feel like in this movie, because in the first one, his love interest, I don't remember her name because she was so forgetful.
Yeah, let me look that up really quick. Go ahead and keep talking.
Well, and that's the thing about this movie is the love interest for Maverick had a lot more to do, had a better reason to want to be with him instead of the teacher that he was with. Like, they hung out one time, found out that she was teaching him, and she said, "Oh yeah, by the way, I've fallen for you." Wow, great, cool. Oh, it was Kelly McGillis as Charlie.
Yeah.
There, what? Come on, I mean. That is literally, I mean, I get it's a pure definition of a 1980s rom-com, but this Top Gun is not a rom-com. Top Gun, you want to see people in airplanes. I could care less about Maverick's love story, but in this one, I'm just like, this is actually a pretty decent romantic subplot that I am actually interested in. I'm going to save it for spoilers, but I think you know what I want to say. And when he... Oh, shit. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's great. Yeah. I whispered what I wanted to talk to him about, but I'm going to save that for the spoilers.
That was great. That was a great scene. Yeah. That was great. Oh, yeah, no, it was, I always enjoy when Jennifer Connelly is on screen. She's always such a really wonderful presence. She really knows how to take energy from an actor and pass it right back. Mm-hmm. She's always active in every single moment beat. It's amazing. She's a gold standard actress, in my opinion. So it was really, really great to see her perform again. And...
She hasn't done much lately.
She hasn't done much lately, but I'm really... she did a really great job in this. And it was really great because it wasn't like Top Gun where it was like, crap, here comes the love story again. And is being shoehorned in. No, every single moment that she came in or that Maverick went to her meant, like, completely made sense. Mm-hmm. So it's just... it was phenomenal. It was really, really phenomenal. But one person that I really need to talk about who was freaking phenomenal in this movie, as he is in almost any movie he does, whether or not it's good or bad.
Except for Fantastic Four.
He was actually kind of decent in that one.
I know.
Kind of decent.
I gotta shut you up right there.
I'm not saying that Fantastic Four was a good movie. I'm saying he did the best with what he had, and what he had was shit.
Miles Teller as Rooster.
Miles Teller as Rooster. I'm not gonna lie, the mustache was a little weird.
Yeah.
But I understood why. Because
his dad was Goose.
His dad is Goose, and
was Goose.
Well, was
spoiler
Goose.
for Top Gun.
Oh yeah, spoiler for Top Gun, but it's been 30 years. So
yeah. If you haven't seen it, that's your fault.
So
our fault.
Goose dies in the end of Top Gun.
What? Goose dies? No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, come on, dude. All right, but and that's actually probably one of the best moments of Top Gun. I'm not gonna lie, not because yes, Goose died. No, because Goose was really the heart of that movie. So the fact what happens to Goose of him, like, you know, snapping his neck on the canopy is fucking terrible thing,
and very just heart-wrenching.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you felt it at the
end point,
yeah, like you hear it crack,
yeah,
and just they are in the water, in the ocean, there's blood and coming out, and you're hoping he survived
something, yeah,
but like maybe it was just a broken back or something, like a broken arm or something, but you just knew he's dead.
So yeah, to have like a legacy character like this come in is actually really wonderful and interesting. Mm-hmm. And Miles Teller brings his A game and talent to this.
Yeah, he did very well.
I love. He was definitely the standout of the New Blood. Yeah. I'm not going to say the New Blood did terribly, but because they all did wonderfully, but he definitely stood out and wonderfully so, especially. And how him and Tom Cruise interact throughout the entire movie is one of the best things ever. Right. I think they did a wonderful job with that relationship. But what did you think about Miles Teller?
So I'm going to be quick about it because I want to talk about the next.
Oh yeah, I know you're really excited about the next one
because I really appreciate it. But Miles Teller did very well. I'm typically not a big fan of Miles Teller.
Oh really? Okay.
I haven't really seen him do a lot.
That's fair.
This is the first movie I've seen him in theaters.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because I haven't seen Spectacular Now. There was whatever he was in with Shailene Woodley.
Yeah.
But then again, he's been in like a few films with Shailene Woodley.
I'll go ahead and share a list with you of like some of his best performances because he's an actor that I believe is a genuine up and comer that could genuinely make Oscars. Yeah. I think he has some Academy Awards in his future. But I'll let you go first on this next one.
Yes, please.
Because I know you, going into this movie, you were really excited to see what they were going to do with this character and this actor.
We are talking about Val Kilmer as Iceman. Mm-hmm. This man has gone through shit.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. Mm-hmm. He has battled throat cancer.
Yep.
I think they did Amazon did a small little documentary film on Val Kilmer. Mm-hmm. And poor guy, he can't speak very well.
Nope.
He can't eat. He's lost a ton of weight. Mm-hmm. Very I don't want to say unrecognizable because you see him in the movie and you know that's Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that's Val Kilmer, but he's a very much shell of his former self.
Because all the chemo and the surgeries, he can't really do much. He's grown a lot closer with his kids.
Oh yeah,
which
especially with his son
and his daughter too. And it's just when you see him. And I think I shed a tear when I first saw him because...
Oh, when you saw him on screen?
Yeah, Val Kilmer is just... Here is a guy that still has loads of talent.
Oh, yeah.
Loads of talent. A lot of people... I've talked to a lot of people that say he's the best Batman.
Yeah, there are still a lot of people who think say he's the best Batman.
Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
But he just had loads of talent. And it was, I don't want to say it was taken away from him, but I'm just going to have to say it. I have to. Cancer took away.
It took a toll.
It took a big toll on him. He's still recovering. He's still having trouble. I think the only way he can speak is through, what is it? When smokers smoke too much, they have to put.
Oh, yeah, through the tube. Yeah, I can't remember what exactly
I can't think what it is either, but he's done a few interviews, and you feel for him. Yeah. And for him to come back in this movie in some form of capacity, it was just so heartwarming.
Oh, yeah.
So heartwarming. And he wasn't in it long.
No. His presence was felt the entire film.
Immediately, too.
Yeah. His presence was really well felt, and it's a very creative thing to do with how... We won't exactly talk about...
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Exactly how they took the character of Iceman through the entire film, but it's a very creative challenge to have a character and an actor in that situation. And I think what they did was absolutely beautiful and genuine. And Val Kilmer genuinely knocked it out of the park. And I also was misty. I was misty a little bit.
That whole scene that we'll talk about later is just, you felt the heart of the entire movie just go straight into that scene.
Oh yeah, and and the whole thing is that you really feel that both Maverick and Iceman really, because at the end of Top Gun, because Iceman became Top Gun, he was the winner, but you could tell, like, in the years afterward, like, not only did they like make up like at the end of the movie, but they stayed as like really good friends throughout their years. Kind
of the rival turned best friend type deal.
And I feel like they did a really good job of showcasing that throughout the movie, and a really good job of just basically making sure that both Val Kilmer and Iceman were done justice. Yeah. As legacy characters, and they did a phenomenal job. But moving on from Legacy to New Blood, the New Blood is actually very interesting and very, very diverse. Each one has like their own thing, and they could have just rehashed it as just kind of like redones of the original like Top Gunners. But no, they actually were all very unique. And of course you're always going to have the loner. You're always going to have like, you know, all those, which are like the ones that you really can't get around. But they actually did a very wonderful job. I'm just going to go ahead and like give out the list of them really quick.
So we have Monica Barbaro
as Phoenix. Lewis Pullman as Bob.
We have Glenn Powell as Hangman.
Jay Ellis as Payback.
And Jake Schumacher as Omaha.
There were a couple more on the Top Gun like class, but these are the main ones that they pretty much focused on.
Out of all of them, this come as a shock to you, but out of all of them, I really enjoyed it. It's either this person or this person. Glenn Powell as Hangman. And Lewis Pullman as Bob.
Oh, yeah.
Those two. Well, Glenn Powell, for me, was basically another Iceman.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's what they were trying to echo.
He added something. He added a 21st century cockiness.
Oh, yeah.
He had that fade going. He was jacked. He was clean shaven. He had this look of, like...
I'm the right guy for the job.
I'm the right guy for the job. And also somebody like, I could steal your girl and still have the parents want me over for dinner too. Like he had that kind of 21st century cockiness that I've seen in a lot of people lately, and you just want to punch him every single time. And that's all credit to Glenn Powell.
No,
but Lewis Pullman is Bob.
Okay. So here's the thing. I did enjoy Glenn Powell as Hangman, but I think my personal two standouts of these friends are going to be Monica Barbaro as Phoenix, and then again Lewis Pullman as Bob. Bob is just kind of the heart of the group.
Yeah, he really was.
You feel for. Bordering on minor spoilers here, he really seems like he's like hit the book but never been in the cockpit kind of a guy.
Yeah, he has. I feel that's very same way.
So I feel like the reason why he's in the cockpit is because he's a really wonderful gunner on paper and probably did well in simulations, but then just has never been inside the cockpit. So when he actually gets inside, he's a little nervous and a little frantic.
Very green, I feel.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But what Monica Barbaro is able to do as Phoenix, which is his pilot, their relationship and dichotomy is awesome
Yeah.
and great, and they play off of each other really, really well. And she also plays really well off of Miles Teller as well, because she's, I feel like, the one that that Rooster has in his corner.
Yeah.
As opposed to kind of like everyone else.
They were more behind Hangman.
Hangman, yeah. Even though Hangman's our literal loner, but it's
Pretty
fine.
much, I mean.
But they did such a wonderful job with so much of the young blood, and again, an unsung hero again of these two are definitely Payback in Omaha. They also did a really wonderful job, and they all had their moments as well. And that's one thing that I actually really want to give credit to for the director and the screenwriter and Tom Cruise as well. They all allowed each and every single one of these characters to have a huge moment, like a genuine huge moment.
Nobody was overlooked.
No one was overlooked, which I think is such a hard thing to do with
Very
as
difficult.
full of a cast as you have here, because this is actually a pretty huge cast in terms of for a movie.
Like Ed Harris, I mentioned.
Yeah.
John Hamm is in it too.
Every single person steps up to the plate when it's their moment and they deliver. So I have to give credit where credit's due, especially to the new blood, because whole bunch of these friends really have not had a whole bunch underneath their belts in terms of popularity in movies, but they stepped up to the plate like this is like been like they've done like big tentpole films for their entire careers.
Well, it's not just that. This movie is not very long.
No, it's not actually.
It's right at 2 hours, and which to have this amount of characters have.
Well, I guess a 2-hour movie is kind of long because your average movie right now has been setting at about 90 minutes, so. It's a bit longer than I guess your normal average one, but it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it.
For me and you, it's not long.
It flies with no pun intended.
But yes, it is. It's very, very hard to do, to put this amount of good quality moments with this amount of characters into a 2-hour movie. It's hard.
It is, yeah.
I mean, Matt Reeves, he struggled...
Even with the Batman.
Even with the Batman, with a 3-hour long movie.
And less characters, in my opinion.
So here you have more characters with a lesser runtime, and you gave them all more to do.
Yeah.
Which is kudos to Tom Cruise, director and the screenwriter. They nailed it. All of these cast did what they needed to do at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
But can we...
Okay, so we're done with our cast, which we all really love. But there's one minor spoiler that we do kind of want to... That just kind of we want to talk about that I feel like will make you smile. So we get inside the theater, we see Nicole Kidman, and we got
Tom Cruise's ex-wife,
and we get ready to watch our movie, and I give out my last little groan of here we go, and flat out opening credits. Almost directly a copy and paste.
It literally was.
It's like a shot for shot with a couple of new scenes because there's new protocols with taking off from a aircraft carrier, but
and landing too.
Oh my god! It literally felt like I was going back. It really puts you really into like the Top Gun ethos just through that. I was like, damn, I'm back in the 80s, dude.
And then you hear the song.
You
hear Danger Zone.
You go back into it, and it is so freaking cool. Well, that's as minor spoilers as we're gonna that's as borderline spoilers as we're gonna get for this area, but we just felt like it wasn't too big of a spoiler to put in our spoiler section, but we still wanted to talk about it.
Now it's time, Zach,
to give our review.
Do you have the need for speed?
I do have the need for speed, but I feel like you're going to be quicker to get this review. So I feel like, well, and also, I mean, hey, you were the one that dragged me out to this movie, so I feel like you have earned your spot to say your review first.
So we have another category.
Oh yeah,
that Zach has not mentioned.
Oh yeah,
It's a clean plate.
Yeah, clean plate for those that don't know, we put clean plate for the really high echelon movies that we personally feel you got barely anything wrong. The bad things were very minute, very small. Movies that are near perfect, if not perfect. And then we have, if we're going to talk about the positive, we should also talk about the negative, which is below our feed it to jazz, which is we would throw it down the garbage disposal.
Correct.
Which that we like if we feed it to jazz, it's like
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, but salvageable. Like you should you can go. But like we warned you.
Yeah.
But garbage disposal is a flat out like don't waste your money on this.
Yeah.
Just don't go.
So I'm mentioning clean plate because this is the closest thing to a clean plate that we've had. It's not a clean plate yet.
Okay.
But it's I think I got you a little bit.
A little bit.
This is the closest thing to a clean plate that we've seen so far this year.
I mean, that's fair because I almost got you for a clean plate before.
With the Northman,
yeah.
There's still like one or two pacing problems that I kind of felt. Mm-hmm. The romantic subplot, even though it was better, it really kind of meshed with a lot of the Top Gun scenes that I really felt they didn't need to.
Sure.
But it is the closest thing to a clean plate that we've had, but I still ate it up.
That's fair. All right. Yeah. I agree. I feel like in terms of what we have watched this year, this is definitely inching closer to clean plate. I don't think is as high for me as it is for you.
Correct. Yeah, you mentioned at the end of the movie, it's not a 97, but it
ain't a 97, but it genuinely shocked me and took me for a ride. So I definitely ate this movie up as well. I think everyone, the cast, the crew, the people behind the camera, all did a phenomenal job with this film, and is something that you genuinely should see in your best theater, whether that's an IMAX, a Dolby Cinema, what's the Regal like?
I know
like
4K.
Well, not 4K, like 4DX with the moving seats and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like whatever your best quality theater is, you should go to that one to see this.
I also feel this is a good drive-in theater experience too.
Oh yeah, that one would be fun too.
Yeah.
Are you talking from like familial parent experience from that one of first date?
But no, I feel like the first Top Gun is something that you take.
That's a drive-in that I will pay no attention to whatsoever.
Absolutely. If you're seeing Top Gun at the drive-in, you're not paying attention to that movie. You're paying attention to
whoever you're with.
Whoever you're with.
Yep.
Man, oh man. That's a good first date idea.
But yeah, no, it's so. It genuinely took me by surprise. So we both say that it's gonna it's an eat it up.
Okay.
All right.
Sound the alarm.
Yep. All right. It's time for our spoiler section. So, spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Okay, before we get to this one.
Yeah, we can talk about your scene that you really want to talk about.
There's two.
There's two. Okay.
Because the second scene of the movie where they pulled Maverick's funding for that test pilot thing.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Where Ed Harris shows up and Maverick does his pilot.
Yeah.
That's just a perfect tone setter.
Yeah,
because
it really was.
Well, because he had to reach 10
Mach 10. Yep.
And he does. And then he goes a little faster because it's Maverick. He's got to
do it more.
He's got to push the envelope, and everybody's just like,
God damn it,
Maverick! And Ed Harris, that guy. I'm telling you, even though you can tell he's gotten a lot older, he's still just.
How the fuck does this dude age and he becomes a better general every single time he's a general?
I know, and that's all
every single goddamn time. I swear to God, he plays the same general every time, but it's like a continuation. I swear to God.
It's just typical Ed Harris. And Ed Harris when he even sees Top Gun, Top Gun. He sees Maverick in the plane.
Yep.
And just it zooms past him. He just stands there.
Yep.
I'm like, Ed Harris, there's no way you literally weigh probably less than 150 pounds because you're not that big.
You're gonna get lifted off.
Yeah, he's pushing 90.
Yeah.
He's just standing there and he has the look of motherfucker. There he goes again. And he also has that look of, man, I feel like he says like, why can't I play a single other goddamn character other than a fucking general? But so he reaches Mach 10. Yeah. Maverick does. He gets to like 10.2, I think.
Yeah, he goes like 10.3, 10.5, and then it finally starts failing his engines.
And he ejects, but you don't see him eject. You see the plane explode.
Yep.
But then he lands in that random town.
He lands in a random town, and he goes into a diner.
And everyone's thinking he's an astronaut pretending to film the moon landing.
And like literally, he looks like he's beaten to hell. Yeah. Like it looks like he was he crashed in like the worst possible fucking thing. His hair's all messed up. He's dirty, and like everyone's jaw is just dropped.
I feel like it's a place in Nevada too.
Yeah.
And I feel it's probably like on the outskirts of Vegas or something. And then all of a sudden the waitress has it's a big glass of water, and he doesn't even say anything. He just points at it,
and she just like,
and he chugs it because and that was a perfect tone setter.
Oh yeah,
because Top Gun, the first movie, it had funny moments.
Yeah,
it had funny moments.
Yeah,
but this one had a hilarious moment.
Oh yeah,
and it then goes further into Maverick needs to be the teacher for this new Top Gun group, and then he goes into the bar.
Yeah,
and
I to be honest, say one thing about the tone setting. It really gives a good look into how much Maverick really hasn't changed in the 30, 40 years that since he's done Top Gun.
About 35 years, yeah.
So like it just shows just how this character really is just stagnated, and they even kind of bring it up like, you've been a captain for like 30 years. You should be like a 2-3 star admiral right now.
Why?
The fuck?
What the hell are you doing?
And it's because of how insubordinate and childish he is,
and kind of hot-headed he is too.
Yeah.
So one quick thing, and then I'm going to talk about the second scene.
Got it.
The bar scene where he sees all the recruits.
Oh yeah.
And you hear
it's a reverse Charlie.
Well, you hear Rooster play the like, goodness gracious,
great balls of fire.
That was so perfect.
Yeah.
And he got kicked out of the bar too.
Well, and here's the thing: it's a reverse Charlie.
It was.
It's a reverse Charlie. It's the whole like Hangman is the one that kicks him out of the bar, literally throws Maverick out of the bar and is like, see you next time, which mirrors the original Top Gun scene between Tom Cruise and Charlie, where she's like, yeah, maybe catch you next time, pilot. Yeah. Like, and you think that's the last that the two characters are gonna see each other, and then on the next day at the briefing, who's up there standing in front of them? Oh, it's Charlie or Maverick. Wait, like.
After he literally bought the entire bar around
like two or three rounds,
because freaking Penny kept ringing the bell, and my last scene that I got to talk to, and then we'll talk about
the rest of it, yeah.
But the scene that I wanted to talk about when we were talking about Penny, was when they slept together, and then her daughter comes home
early.
And he
she comes there
out. Oh my god!
Yeah.
I mean, if my parents got divorced and they decided to get back together and I caught my dad doing that,
like jumping out of the window.
Yes. Yeah. I would literally go up to my dad. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Get your ass back in there. I don't care.
Oh god.
Because what is he doing?
It's just and the thing is that like he just like he's like, am I really gonna do this? And she's like, dude, yes, get the fuck out the window. And then,
so funny
and then
Go ahead.
once he jumps, he lands, and he's like, I got this. It's fine. Everything's fine. And then he looks, and the daughter's just staring right outside at him. And it's just like, dude.
It's literally, it's reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Because normally
it's the youngsters.
Like, it's
Yeah.
our
It's the
age or
youngsters.
younger that is...
doing that shit.
Yes,
but
we're,
instead...
we're like, us being straight guys, we're the ones in our younger age, we're jumping out the windows, not a 60-year-old Tom Cruise jumping out of a 50-year-old.
That was his extreme stunt for
Yes.
this one. Is just jumping out a fucking 2-story window.
not a 60-year-old jumping out a 50-year-old's window to avoid her teenage daughter. Oh my god.
That's the real stakes right there.
Oh yeah, but it was so funny.
It was a good scene. It was a great
okay.
scene. All right, but let's now
yes,
going
please.
from a very funny scene to a very somber scene.
Oh, yeah.
This transition fucking sucks.
I know.
But,
I'm literally crying of laughter.
well, now you're gonna be crying real tears because holy shit, Val Kilmer as Iceman. We gotta go more in depth with
Yep.
this. So
sad.
So going back to my initial comments of like, you can see how these two have bonded since the first Top Gun. Iceman has literally been getting Maverick out of his shit
Yeah.
every single time. And you can tell the reason why that he's even still in the Navy and even still a captain is because Iceman keeps on saving his ass.
Yeah.
You don't see Val Kilmer until like 2/3 of the way into the movie. And
He's mentioned and they
he's
exchange
doing
texts.
They're doing texts. And what an interesting way to like have the character in the movie through text but not have him there. What a good way to do it. And then finally, like, the actual scene.
Yeah.
The one scene where he's actually in it, they basically are like, you know, he has throat cancer.
It came back.
He can't talk. Like, they're like, y'all, like, just be, literally the movie's saying, y'all just be happy Val Kilmer is even in the room right now because this is going to be hard and this is going to be rough for all of us.
Yeah. Well, I also felt that when they filmed this scene, I also feel like...
I think they felt that Val Kilmer wasn't going to be alive for very much longer.
Yeah. Well, he's in much better shape now.
He's in much better shape. He's turned it around a little bit, which I'm happy to see, but it's... I genuinely think that the scenes, a couple ones afterward, I think was written because I think they genuinely were expecting him to actually pass away while this was being shot and edited.
I also feel that this scene was filmed late because I also feel that even though the movie was probably finished, they probably still had to do a few little reshoot.
Oh yeah,
work.
this probably was in maybe the end of shooting or in a reshoot.
I feel like this may have been a small little reshoot.
Yeah.
Because I also feel that Val Kilmer was announced to be involved in this movie in some capacity.
Yep.
I just don't think they knew
when they could get him in.
When they were going to get him in. How are they going to do it? Because he kept this cancer very private until recently.
Yeah.
He's had cancer since 2015.
Yep.
That's a long ass time.
A long time.
And I have a feeling that probably the only people that know this were people that were really close, like maybe Tom Cruise. I know him and Kevin Bacon are really close.
Yep.
But his group.
Yeah.
So, because he was part of that, I don't want to call it, was it Frat Pack or that 80s?
Yeah, I think he was part of them.
Yeah, I think him and Johnny Depp are close too. I know.
Yeah, I think they are.
Him and Kurt Russell, I know are close.
Oh yeah, they are very close.
From Tombstone.
Yeah.
Which, if you have not seen him in Tombstone, him play Doc Holliday, that
alone sells the movie.
Not a great movie, but
that alone sells the movie.
Yeah, he's great. But the scene just starts with, so Maverick goes to his house.
Yep.
After Iceman texts him, he basically says, I need to see you. And Maverick texts like, it's not a good time. And I think he said like, it's not a request or something like that.
This is an order from the Admiral. Get your ass over here.
He literally texts him that he meets the wife, and the wife says like, it's came back. Pretty much he's gonna pass away.
Yeah. And
Maverick goes and sees him, and immediately you see the back of him, and you just felt this pure just movie magic.
Yeah.
Because he sits down. I think they have a nice like handshake or hug.
Yeah, they have like a nice hug.
And they sit down, and they don't say anything for a couple seconds, and then Maverick starts spilling out his guts, and in pure Val Kilmer fashion, as soon as Maverick is done with getting his heart out of his chest, he goes to his computer and types up a short phrase.
Yep.
And it goes to show how good of chemistry that these two have, and how good actors they are.
Yeah.
Because all Val Kilmer's doing is listening to what Tom Cruise is giving him, going to his computer and typing.
Yeah.
And then listening again. And all Tom Cruise has to go off of is looking at Val Kilmer's reactions and reading this text.
Yeah.
And it is so beautiful. And there was not a dry eye in there.
Oh, no. And Kilmer's reactions were so much more than words could actually say.
And he didn't really do much either. Like,
well, and also some of his like quote unquote lines when he's typing is literally the same line. There is literally, he types out a line and then points to it multiple times because he's like, Maverick, this is bullshit. Like this is what I mean. You got to forgive yourself.
Yeah,
forgive yourself. Fucking forgive yourself.
For Goose's death.
Yeah, like he keeps on like pointing to like forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Or you forgive yourself.
Yeah,
like
shut up and forgive yourself.
Like literally, it's and each time like Val Kilmer just brings his A game, and Tom Cruise does too. Like if we just gave Oscars for a scene.
This would be
this
perfect.
one I feel like would win for the year, honestly, because Jesus, it was
beautiful,
amazing. And then finally, you hear Val Kilmer speak,
and it's not his real voice.
It's not his real voice.
It's computer generated, but it's an old.
And yet his son also added some
so I think what happened was they probably found some old sound footage and they mixed it with his son, and that's what gave him the voice. But still, you can tell he said the words, but obviously he wouldn't have been able to. He
wouldn't be able to phonate much.
He would have needed his.
Well, and they do a good job because they actually add like a nice like necktie or something to actually hide the actual piece, so that like I feel like that was probably in Val Kilmer's contract is like I don't want that to be shown. So he adds like a nice scarf or something in his costume to actually cover up the piece that would like help him phonate.
Well, and then they hug again. And they give each other a look of like, this is probably the last time. And then you see, after a scene or two later, you see the funeral. And Tom Cruise,
shit hits the fan.
Yeah. Well, Tom Cruise has this beautiful moment at the coffin where he has that metal. And he
pounds it into the coffin.
And I'm like, that is such a perfect send-off.
Well, and also, might I say, I think it was genuinely amazing of the people that built the trailers for this movie to put not who passes away into the trailer, but the fact that there was a funeral into the trailer to bring stakes to this movie. Because throughout this movie, you're hearing someone's not going to make it out of this mission. Someone's not going to make it out. So you're expecting, if you've seen the trailers to this movie, one of the New Bloods or Tom Cruise or someone, well, not Tom Cruise because you see him pounding, but you're expecting someone to die in this movie from the mission. And then it comes out of left field that it was Val Kilmer. So like kudos to that.
Yeah.
Like, really well. Crap. What is that saying again? Subversion of expectations.
Yeah.
So I thought that was also really good.
So we're literally mopping up the tears.
Yep.
So it's time. Let's quick
redemption. Let's
quick
talk
little
about the redemption.
And then we'll talk about the final mission.
We're mopping up the tears, so let's talk about the redemption. Like we said, so Iceman was cleaning up Maverick's messes since he was an admiral. Like, he's the reason why Maverick is probably still in the Navy. So Maverick screws up again in a big way because the timetable for their mission moved up like a lot.
It wasn't just like a few days. It was
like a week.
Because they needed it done in
two.
I thought it was 3 weeks' time.
Maybe 3.
It was originally 3 weeks' time.
But then it was like a week and a half.
Yeah, and they didn't... Well, and the thing was, Maverick's teaching way is he gets them out of the classroom, because he even said, you all know the rule book. I don't need to tell you about the rule book. You need to do this out here. And he's teaching them how to do impossible stakes.
Correct. And get them out alive.
Well, and not just that, he's out there with them.
Yeah.
Training them.
Yeah.
And boy, he mops the floor with
someone. Oh, every single one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it? The bet that they have, like
oh, yeah. So they bet that they can shoot him down, quote unquote.
But if he shoots every one of them down.
Well, the thing is, Hangman makes this bet. Hangman says, if I shoot you down, you Maverick have to do 100 push-ups. And Maverick was like, oh, that's a tall order, guys, but I think I'll take that bet. And literally right away, bam, one's down. Bam, 2's down. And like they're like
well, and after a while he started doing it, like, go see so and so about your push-ups.
Yep,
Go see yep. That's 100 for you.
Yep.
And after a while they just finally they're Maverick's the best, pretty much. Well, and then because he fails.
Yep. So he fails, and he's like, I can't. These kids aren't ready. I can't get them up to this.
Well, and John Hamm's like, I'm gonna teach him.
And so John Hamm is literally like, I'm gonna teach him. We're gonna do this a little bit later, because I need to give you guys time to learn and blah 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 blah. So
and a lot slower.
And we're gonna do it a lot slower. And all the people in the room are like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, because the way Maverick was teaching them, they were gonna fly really low to avoid their radar.
Yep.
Super fast, but still in a decently safe way. Because where they were gonna fly, it was not.
Yeah. If they flew any higher, they were going to get shot down. It was a guaranteed.
Yes.
So
and they had that steep climb.
And they had the steep climb twice.
Yes.
The smaller one to get into the crater or into the heart of the mountain, and then the steeper climb to get out of it, which they knew once they got out of it, immediately they were going to have the missiles on them and were about to be shot. So they knew that was going to be their only way to actually survive. And that was Tom Cruise's big thing throughout the entire movie. I'm trying to get them back.
Yeah, like he knew that they were good enough to get the mission done. But he wanted to get them out alive because he doesn't want to lose another goose.
Yeah.
He definitely,
especially, specifically Rooster.
Yes, and there was a point where he didn't want Rooster to go on this mission.
Correct.
Because he wanted Hangman, I think.
And the reason why that we learn is because Goose's wife made Maverick promise that Rooster wouldn't fly in the Navy, which also is one of the tension points between Rooster and Maverick throughout most of this movie, is because Maverick, in order to keep on that promise for Goose's wife, he set Rooster's career back 5 years.
Yeah, it was a long
That
time.
is like
that's that's pretty something.
That's so Rooster takes it personal. But ultimately, okay, well we'll get back to what Maverick does. So Maverick's kicked out, they're briefing them. Okay, so now you're gonna fly at a higher level. You're gonna do it slower, and you're gonna chances are someone is going to. There's a 90% someone's gonna die. This is a suicide mission. And as John Hamm is saying that, all of a sudden you hear, "We got a bogey coming," and that's because Maverick, against all odds and against protocol, because he's actually not even supposed to be on the base anymore, has gotten into a fighter pilot and is going to do the stint as it was before. However, he's going to do it 30 seconds less.
And he does.
Than anyone else, than what is expected. And he does it.
And he doesn't do it. There was no doubt in my mind he was going to be able to do it. As soon as you see him do it, I knew right away, like, oh, he's going to fucking ease through this. And he had seconds to spare, I'm pretty sure. Like, he didn't... Now, it wasn't like 15 seconds.
No, like, but genuinely, like, he pretty much did it faster than what was expected of the new blood. And it was also a little bit faster than, like, I would think it was like 2 or 3 seconds faster than what he put on the clock.
And that moment, that was him not just proving himself, but also it was a good teaching moment. For him to go and do that.
Prove it was possible.
And teach the kids that if I can do this, and yes, I'm considered one of the better pilots.
You're the best pilots, too.
Yes. If I can do this, I just showed you that this can be done. You can do it too, and I'm going to be there with you. And we all knew during the movie, and we can segue into...
Oh, final mission.
Yes. Yep. We all knew that Maverick was going to go on this mission.
Yeah.
We all knew it.
Yep.
Because I feel like Maverick is the kind of character that... kind of like a captain, he's going to go down with his ship and his crew.
Yeah.
And immediately when they all take off, because it was Maverick, then Rooster,
Phoenix,
Bob. Was it Payback in Omaha?
Payback in Omaha, yeah. And then Hangman was the...
He was the
secondary. Yeah. Like
he was on the bench.
He's on the bench where he sits back. And
if he's needed,
he comes in.
And then they all go.
Yeah.
And as soon as they take off, the tension is just riveting.
Oh, yeah.
Because then it doesn't take long for them to reach the point of destination either.
Correct, yeah. It doesn't take exactly like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Because, it's movies. So, like, you have a 2-minute thing, but we stretch it out so that we can see a whole bunch of different aspects of said 2 minutes. Which, that would have been cool if they actually genuinely did do it in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That would have been the shit.
Yeah. Well, and they get there.
Yeah.
Maverick and Phoenix and Bob, they're going balls to the wall.
Yeah.
They're going.
Yeah.
Because Maverick's the leader, and Phoenix and Bob are his... I don't want to say... Would you say wingman, or would you say...
No, they were just... Because it splits up into 2 groups.
Yes.
You have your...
Maverick and Phoenix and Bob.
Maverick, Phoenix, and Bob, who have to basically create an opening. And then Rooster basically has to be a Luke Skywalker and shoot a huge missile into the size of a Womp Rat hole with Payback in Omaha.
Yes, because Phoenix, Bob, Payback in Omaha, they are like a tracker.
Yeah.
For that missile or whatever you call it.
Correct.
Into this base that they need to destroy.
Yeah.
And because I think it's like Russian intelligence or something.
No, it's Iranian nuclear.
That's right.
Yeah, it's nuclear intelligence, which they evidently like their base is going to become active within the day of them striking.
It's like 2 or 3 days. Yeah. And so Maverick is balls to the wall. Rooster is slowly.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows kind of how green that Rooster is.
Yep.
Because they tell him throughout the movie, like, you're slow.
You got to go faster.
Yeah. Well, it goes to show how, like, Rooster's a very scared individual.
Oh, yeah. He's cautious.
Yes.
I wouldn't say scared. I would say he's cautious.
But, like, it was, like, halfway through Maverick was like saying, "Come on, like
You gotta trust your gut.
Well, not just that, but like, come on, kid.
Yeah.
Come on, kid.
I know you can do it.
Yes, and I almost felt like, I'm sure he probably did hear it, but Rooster heard it. Like, come on, kid, you can do it.
Yep.
It was almost like Maverick finally took that second father figure role that we've been waiting for him to do in this movie, and then he punched it. Yep. I mean, he literally, like, Han Solo Chewie punch it. That's literally how it went.
Literally, there was so many Star Wars references in like this second thing. It wasn't even funny. Yeah. Like, I was like, okay, so we got the Womp Rat hole, we have the punch it, we have like, it was like Star Wars galore. I'm not gonna lie.
And then they speed through. Yep. They get there. Maverick does the opening.
Yep.
And then there's a bit where like, oh, is it gonna happen? Because Payback in Omaha, their laser
isn't working.
Yep. So Goose is like, I'm eyeballing it, and he fires, and I'm just like, there's no fucking way. And there was a part of me like, it's gonna happen, but the majority of me is like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, the tension.
Because Rooster sucks. Like, I literally thought like Rooster's not gonna do it. He's not, and then he does it. Yeah. He blows up the space place or whatever. I can't even.
The nuclear base.
The nuclear base. But then the mission's not over.
Nope. You gotta get back.
They gotta get back, and then they go up that steep at 10 knots.
At 10 Gs, yeah.
10 Gs. They get up there, and then just all of a sudden, missiles galore.
Yep.
Here comes the Iranian security. Yep. Their planes. They're coming after them, and nobody is safe.
Yep.
Nobody is safe. They're going all over the place.
Radio's going haywire. Yeah, like everyone's going screaming and everything.
It was so awesome.
Yeah, it was so, very tense.
Yeah, because everybody's screaming like, watch your left, watch your right. And Cruz is screaming off the top of his lungs, and I love it. And then he gets shot down.
Well, because so Rooster is flying, and he's spent all of his flares. So that means, and then one more missile comes after him. Yeah. So Rooster literally says, I got no more flares. And in that second, Maverick literally goes, all right, fuck it. And then he's like, all right, I'm taking this missile, and he gets shot down. Then Rooster's like, we got to get back for him. And literally John Hamm is like, nope.
You're coming back.
You're coming back. Don't you fucking dare. Come back.
Everybody else goes back.
And then Rooster, and then literally, so Maverick is literally, it then becomes like almost, it becomes
like
man in a hostile environment, like thing. It was great.
Great segue.
And then we had like basically like a Apache helicopter is like doing reconnaissance of like the area.
Yeah.
And then
because they all know they just got
that one got shot down, so they're basically making sure that the pilot's dead.
Yeah.
So then they find Tom Cruise and they're about to shoot him, and then there comes Miles, and then there comes Rooster to shoot down the Apache helicopter, and because the Apache helicopter gets shot down, the planes are like, oh shit, there's another one, and then they shoot Miles Teller down, and then you're like, god damn it, Rooster, the fuck.
Well, and he even yelled at him too. Yeah. And then finally it was a nice moment where they both said, it was almost kind of like Rooster forgave Maverick in that moment.
Yep.
Because then they realized like, we need to get home.
Yeah.
And then they go
and then they go to because in order for them to make this run even possible, they had the Navy had to absolutely bombard the Iranian airway.
Right.
So basically Miles and Tom Cruise are basically like, okay, so that airway is probably the only spot where we can get a plane to get out of here. And then guess what?
They find
guess what is there? Guess what is fucking there? An F-18, an old ass F-18 that they used
back in the
80s that was being flown in Top Gun. It was basically literally the Force Awakens Millennium Falcon. Yeah. That ship's garbage. The garbage will do. Yeah.
A perfect legacy sequel. Then they fly. They get out.
Yep.
There was a little bit of a moment like, oh, they gotta make it, and they make it, and they fly, and then the two planes that
are very leagues ahead of F-18s at this point.
They fly past them, and Maverick's like, pretend that we're
That our comms are dead.
Yeah,
like pretend that another fucking Star Wars reference. Like they're like hitting their things. They're like, no, bad. It's thumbs down.
And then they like slowly back away.
Yeah.
And then Maverick's like,
did they buy it?
And Rooster's like, they didn't buy it.
Yeah, no, fuck. We're locked on.
Well, and Rooster's like, what are we gonna do? And Maverick's just like, hold on. And then and another just very tense, awesome scene that they're flying around. They're
trying their best.
Cruz is basically forcing Rooster just be like, where am I? Where are they at? Just talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. And Rooster screaming at the top of his lungs, and then finally like, how do we fucking work this thing? and
then Hangman gets his glorious moment because he's able to shoot one of them down.
Yeah.
And then Cruz shoots another one. Cruz and Teller shoot another one down, and then a third one shows up. And you're like, oh shit, is this it? Is this the Tom Cruise and Rooster go out and father and son it? And then no, literally they just do like a full on nose to nose charge, and Cruz and Teller happen to be the ones to come out of it.
Yeah.
So
Then everybody goes home happy. Maverick and Penny start dating
again,
and all this. And this. That's a lot.
It was a lot. It was a good, but again, this movie genuinely should not have been as good as it was, and it shocked me. It has no right to be this good, but it is. We know we're getting this out a bit late because I had a COVID scare, but everything's fine.
Damn you.
But God, this was great.
It was I had fun talking about it. Did you?
Oh yeah, it was a little bit of danger zone there, but we made it through.
But we had the need
for speed. But until our next review,
which may be coming out quick,
we will go ahead and say again. We have our email in the link below. Please go ahead and email us with your thoughts, comments. Did you like the movie? Did you eat it up? Do you think it needed to cook a little more? Or do you think we should have fed it to Jazz? I know, Sonny, you think it should be fed to Jazz, but it's fine. Don't worry. I still believe in you.
Coworker Sonny?
She
didn't like it?
She didn't like it.
Well, goddamn you.
No, we believe in you. You're okay. Don't worry. You're
don't.
Mitch is going to be found in a ditch later, but it's fine. So go ahead and send us your comments. If you have any suggestions for us, go ahead and shoot those to us too. But until that time, I'm Zach.
I'm Mitch.
And we have been an excellent little podcast.